Hello everyone, welcome back to GGN. This is part 3, the final part for today, for Wednesday, July 3rd, 2013. I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.com. On YouTube's ddarko2012, ddarko2013. I'll have the links up here by tomorrow evening, so you can check those out. Alright, sorry about the fireworks in the background. It's like, it's Independence Day, right? Wave our American flags made in China and our fireworks made in China and celebrate our freedoms. Just quickly though, it's like, what do I think? I agree with someone else that I was speaking with about this issue. Fireworks. Why would they allow the sheeple to be running around with explosives? And it's like, well, it's a pressure release valve. Every year around this time, when people think about how free they are, and then they start thinking, well, maybe I'm not so free. Maybe we should revolt again, or maybe we should try to have some kind of philosophical revolt, something, right? They get to light off their fireworks. So again, it's just another type of release. It's like entertainment. Facebook now collecting photo IDs. So it says here, someone from an InfoWars listener said here that they had their Facebook account suspended for asking Facebook how to change their primary email address. Coincidentally, the listener who uses Facebook as a tool to promote the truth about U.S. government, and that goes on, says that she was merely contacted Facebook requesting information on how to change the primary address or email address on her account. They responded by suspending her account and accusing her of using a fake name. Says the Facebook employee with the title Marissa of User Operations told her, if you would like to use this profile again, just get back to us with your real name and we will reactivate the account for you. The listener explained that she hadn't been using a fake name, but regardless provided her real first name and last name. So it goes on. I mean, this is where it's going. I mean, with Google and all that, they just force you to use your first names and your full names and stuff. Eventually leading to an internet license. That's what they want. Pentagon, they don't like how it's anonymous and that. Pentagon wanted searchable database of people's lives in 2003. So this should not be any shock to Facebook spies, NSA spies, IRS targets certain groups. They target everybody. This has been going on for a long time. 10 years before the recent global panic over the U.S. government domestic spying program, again, they were allowing, this is a pressure release, they're allowing the public to know that they're being spied on, The Pentagon solicited contractors for a searchable database of people's lives. DARPA hoped to create a database that would amass everything about the life of a person participating in the project, ranging from GPS coordinates to every email, phone call sent and received. Participant would wear a camera, microphone, sensors to record the minutia of everyday life. The program, called LifeLog, would act as a person's digital diary, digital DNA maybe too. So, okay, so they hope to have the database with further research into artificial intelligence. It would take the data gathered from consenting participants and map out relationships and events found in data. Greenwald of the Telegraph or Mail Online or whatever it is, on coming leak. NSA can obtain 1 billion cell phone calls a day, store them and listen. I had a friend tell me too about the amount of information that they could store. They have the ability to just store. It's everything. Everything that's on the net, they have the ability to store it for like up to 50 years, like the next 50 years of storage. I mean, you're talking about a huge amount of information. Richard Nixon said anything the NSA did is totally defensible. So I couldn't get this article to come up, and then my Firefox just crashed. So Richard Nixon, anything the NSA did is totally defensible. So from the New York Times, Nixon and his most senior aides spent hours discussing plans to use federal law enforcement agencies and intelligence services to conduct domestic spying operations against Americans. He personally approved with the most radical of these plans, called the Houston Plan. Edward Snowden's father, in a letter, compares his son to Paul Revere, assails administration. So Paul Revere, I've also heard McCain and them talking about basically likening it to the Cold War. But Paul Revere, so it makes me wonder if this was supposed to create some kind of revolution. I remember just recently, May 1st, George Washington's Revenge, Paul Revere contest entry. Sorry about that. But yeah, so you have, like I said, I do get some news from InfoWars, man, but I think that they're there to engineer the 10%. for the revolution, a stage, basically controlled opposition, a revolution, and also to never talk about Zionism, but U.S. Postal Service logging all mail for law enforcement. So again, you should not be surprised that the Postal Service monitors people's mail. So it was one of the last forms of private communication, but you know, they have ways to unseal and seal again your letters and that. It says here that I noticed something odd in the mail last September. A handwritten card, apparently delivered by mistake, with instructions for postal workers to pay special attention to the letters and packages sent to his home. Show all mail to supervisor for copying prior to going out to the street, read the card, including his name, address, and the type of mail that needed to be monitored. The word confidential was highlighted in green. Said it was a bit of a shock for him to see that. Next up, restricted web access to The Guardian is Armywide. The Army admitted Thursday to not only restricting access to the Guardian news website, says here, the employee said that the site had been blocked since The Guardian broke the story on data collection by the NSA. Offend someone on Facebook, go to jail in Grenada, so being mean online could cost you $37,000 or 3 years behind bars under a new law. So, yep, there you go. It says the first law in the Caribbean. And, you know, this is kind of where it's going in other places. Teen jailed for Facebook comment reportedly beat up behind bars. The family of the Justin Carter, 19-year-old Texas gamer who made offensive Facebook comments that landed him in jail, is working with new urgency to get his $500,000 bail reduced because they say Carter's getting beat up while behind bars. So he says he has a concussion, black eyes, moved four times from base for his own protection. So he's been in solitary confinement, nude for days on end because he's depressed. All of this extremely traumatic to the kid. This is a horrible experience. Cameras to monitor emotional states of students. So even a good teacher may not always be able to sell at a glance which students are quietly struggling and which need more of challenge. Fortunately, laptops may soon come with enough emotional intelligence built into the job for them, says a recent study from North Carolina University shows this might work. They use video cameras to monitor the faces of college students participating in the sessions using software that have been trained to match facial expressions with different levels of engagement or frustration. They're able to recognize when students were experiencing difficulty, when they were finding the work too easy. This is, of course, like everything else. This is to replace teachers. So, all these great champions of technology, the exoskeleton for the paraplegic. It's for troops. It's for making robots more efficient, turning humans into cyborgs. The project suggests a way for technology to help teachers keep track of students' performance in real time. And Wi-Fi lets you see people through walls. It says here. It isn't exactly Superman-like X-ray vision, but cheap, low-power Wi-Fi technology is gaining more attention as a remote sensing tools. So, again, MIT developed a sensing technology that uses low-power Wi-Fi to detect moving people. It follows other wall-penetrating sensors to use radar and heavy equipment. So, it sends out a low-power Wi-Fi signal and tracks its reflections to sense people moving around, even when they're in closed rooms or behind walls. Part of the Wi-Fi signal transmitted at a wall will penetrate it and reflect off people on the other side. So the MIT system ignores all the other reflex, such as objects. So it can only determine the number of moving people in the room and the relative locations. So this is MIT. This is for the military-industrial complex. This is for being able to accurately know whether there's 3 farmers inside a house and inside a hut in Afghanistan to blow them to smithereens, right? Scientists invent contact lenses that bestow telescopic vision. So it says here that researchers in Switzerland and San Diego said this week that they have developed contact lenses that can bestow telescopic vision upon the wearer. They work in conjunction with a set of special glasses that wouldn't seem that unusual themselves, but inside the lens a tiny ring reflects light back and forth with hundreds of aluminum mirrors. Those mirrors are positioned precisely so that all the points of light come together in an image projected onto the eye that depicts the world magnified by 2.8 times. Researchers told the BBC that the lenses could be used to help people, particularly the elderly. The catch is that the image is only seen if the wearer puts on a special polarized filter embedded in a pair of glasses similar to 3D shades popular in Hollywood's big summer blockbusters. Hold on to your seats here, folks. You're not going to believe this. The project was funded at the U.S. Department of Defense's research wing, DARPA, which might see an easy way to see, as one might imagine battlefield scenarios being a place someone might benefit from an extra sharp eyesight. Like the exoskeleton, help the elderly, and maybe help the troops. New program plans to mandate electronic undatable license plates that track your every move, so... But it goes on here, says there's a plan to force drivers to begin using electronic updatable license plates so police will be able to tell whether the vehicle or the driver associated with the vehicle is wanted for any alleged criminal activity. So, yeah, it said here that it's just another violation of the fast diminishing Fourth Amendment. It'll make it easier to track your every move. India's new surveillance network will make the NSA green with envy, so... India doesn't seem to worry that the surveillance scandal recently rocking the U.S. might perturb its own citizens. The country is going ahead with an ambitious program that will let it monitor any one of its 900 million telecom subscribers and 120 million internet users, called the Centralized Monitoring System. Far-reaching program rivals the worst in the world and makes the U.S. National Security Agency look like a model of restraint. Key EU and U.S. trade pact under threat after more NSA spying allegations. So, you see this European anger growing over extent of alleged U.S. electronic surveillance. So kind of like we were just talking about, here in the U.S., it's not like the EU or European countries, man. When they want something, they demand action. They get out there and they mobilize. Things change. It's like you think people would be pissed off about this in the U.S., but they don't care. I guess they're just so used to it, and they believe all the propaganda that's been on the television with all these stupid television shows about terrorism and spying and torturing and all that. They just buy it. They buy this shit. So it says here that the U.S. agencies bugged European Council building, talking about Germany, is reminiscent of the Cold War, says the minister. So... U.S. State Department spent $630,000 to buy Facebook fans. They're under fire for spending was $500,000 over 2 years to win millions of likes on Facebook pages at a time of severe government austerity. FBI sued over secretive facial recognition program. Soon the FBI will be done building a database containing the photographs, fingerprints, and other biometric data for millions of Americans, but they say they've been far from forthcoming with the details a new lawsuit shows. This is from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Jared Markham, the student who wore the NRA shirt, cleared of criminal charges, so that's good news, I guess. And then you have Calvert boy with toy cap gun won't have records. So the Calvert County Schools chief reversed in its entirety the suspension of a 5-year-old boy who brought his cowboy-style cap gun on the school bus. So the incident will be cleared from the kindergarten's records. Well, that's nice of him, Jeez. I want to talk about institutionalizing everybody. Get him in the system. Man tried for chalk drawings, found not guilty. Talking about the Bank of America chalk drawing guy. Masked cancer patient walks into bank mistaken for wanted robber. So a man walked into the Wells Fargo Friday with a mask on, but he was no robber. Far from it. He's undergoing chemotherapy. I felt so embarrassed and humiliated after he's surrounded by police. A diplomat breastfeeding wife pegged as terrorist in New York City. The White Plains Country Club patron spooked by backpack. So the wife of the Belgian diplomat started breastfeeding their daughter on the terrace. The country club last month, the manager quickly asked her to leave immediately and finish feeding in the bathroom. So the situation escalated. Says the police arrived, cleared other diners for the terrace, and a detective walked over with one hand on his gun and one hand on his taser. So they accused the couple of trespassing. Then they feared the couple were terrorists because she was wearing a backpack. Undercover sting catches man selling catfish on Craigslist. Michigan, their Wildlife Resource Protection Unit went undercover responding to a posting on Craigslist from a Grand Rapids man who was selling 14 of the bottom dwellers. So that he needs a commercial fishing license to do so. So laws are punishable by 90 days behind bars and fines between $250 and $1,000. Believe this too. It's all about protecting the consumer. Heartbreaking moment. Cops shot and killed a dog who leapt at officers when owner was being arrested for filming them. So the dog was protecting him. Cops shoot dog in front of 6-year-old after raiding the wrong home in search of a man with expired vehicle registration. That was in Texas. Troopers shoved 74-year-old and arrest her for a felony assault when she hits him with her purse. They said there was a problem. Well, what was the problem? She couldn't move fast enough for the trooper. Man fatally shoots 2 intruders after a home invasion. Good Samaritan killed defending Texas woman. After a Georgia man was paralyzed in early June after trying to save a young girl. Frightened customer may have mistakenly gunned down 2 restaurant workers. The liberals and of course the commenters attack them. But hey, don't worry about cops. You know, they're the only ones that aren't responsible. Thank you.